And welcome back to day 5 of our Spirit Valley of the Magic Ring. Hey, I think I got it today. Must be more on form. It's a bit earlier. Quite a bit earlier actually. So, there was one piece that I missed off from last time to finish this side up, which is this tiny piece here. And I couldn't work out where their directions were, even talking about it going, but it goes here. So, took me a moment to work it out. It kind of just points to somewhere really. So this is to hide the gap, I think. So probably a bit easier to do if you haven't put that chain in yet. I really do suggest you making this chain up before you need to put it in. And it does look like we are going to have 2 of those over as spares, so that's handy. Being I did break one. So just put B7000 on there, and that's just going to slip on the bridge itself, which probably would have been a little bit easier to have done without it being together. Okay, I think that's it. But it's just to hide, basically, that there's going to be a join there. Alrighty, now we move back to the other side that we started at the beginning. I turn my page. I haven't turned it purely for doing that one piece. Anyway, I hope you're doing well today. We are going to be, I'm hoping to finish this today. That's the plan. So we are back on this piece, and I have the sun blazing in on me. Oh, it's not going to affect you so much, but it certainly affects me. Hold on. And we are going to be putting a very important piece in our dragon. So, nice important piece here, which is these 2 pieces, which are going to go into our dragon. Okay, one of them goes all the way up here, and that's the smaller one of the 2. Doesn't look like the right pieces at all, because I'm sure they're not meant to have that on the side. Well, that one's the right piece, H8, which is the one that goes over here. Which goes, I believe, at an angle like so. But I don't think these are the right pieces. Oh, that's because I'm moving ahead on my pieces, and then you've got this piece, which, let me just see which ends go where, if it's the curved ends. Oh, picking up all my papers now. Okay, I think you want the curved part, this part, see it's got a curved end and a flatter end. I think you need the curved part going outwards and facing a direction. Okay, well, why don't we do it this way? So I think we have this one going in this side of our dragon, and so we're soon going to find out. Inwards, like so. It's going to be quite a bit higher, isn't it? And then this one I know we put in wrong. So I reckon this one goes inwards. That doesn't work either. Ooh. So I think like so, and how I had this one. Okay. So it looks great if you're going to see it from this angle, but if you're seeing it from that angle, surely this is Which way's the front? Maybe that way's the front. Find out in a minute. I think that's how it's meant to be going. And then one of these go here. I think it's the opposite way, that dragon. I think it's got to face this way. So I think it's the right principle, but I do think that these are around the wrong way. And I think it's got to face towards the front here, because that's going to be the front of the model. So let's just switch those out. Yeah. What we want is the longer end in here, like so. And the shorter end up there. Okay. Not going to be probably very strong now because I've taken them in and out so many times. I think of the logic way, but I'm sure it shows it the other way around. It looks like it does. Maybe it doesn't. It definitely looks like it does. Definitely looks like it puts the smaller end over here, but I don't think that's what it wants. Because I think when you look at it at the side, you want to see it. And I think this is going to be the front edge. Alright, then we put this on. Right, now, what are we doing? We are joining them together. Good times. So we have this wire going straight down here, and this wire, so we need to be careful where our wires are going. And bring it all in. And are there any notches? Really? You would have thought there'd be notches, wouldn't you? Oh, here's a notch. Okay. I can go all the way up to here. It's got me very confused. Okay, I see that this is the notch we're definitely using, but now I think I had my dragon right the first time, and I've got my ends the wrong way. So this wire here is actually the front. So their instructions weren't wrong, it was just my understanding of the model. Okay, so off we come again. As I say, it's going to have no difficulty holding them at this rate. That one's the wrong way round. If they don't fit, you've probably got them in the wrong way. Okay. On we go again then. So this is going to be where the mirror goes, which we will be dealing with quite soon. Okay, alright, so what this do here. You want to be catching the wire, which it really wants to catch right now. It still does. plus of course you've got all the decoration as well going on. But I think this is going to be a bit easier than the Peng Lao one, I think, overall. So this wire, I just don't want to pinch it. In. If I push this wire in a bit, just for now anyway. Right, let's see where this wire is. And you can see underneath here it's pinching it quite good. That's a tight fit with that wire actually. Wish it had gone inside a building, that's for sure. Let me just struggle to get this on. Alright guys, it's still not in, but this wire, one going down here, just hooks in here. It doesn't have to go all the way over there. So that's where that was going wrong. So now it's just a matter of putting it in and lining it up, because now it is in the wrong place except for this one. Okay, those are in. So now, let's see what needs doing up here. Because I can see it's not in, you can see it's bowed outwards. So what's in the way, my friends? This feels like it's in the way. Or we could do it like that and start again. Okay, I'm going to get this side on. We knew it was going to be a pain, and indeed we are not disappointed. We'll put that out of the way. Okay, it definitely isn't right. You can see it's not joined up down here proper. But what I'm going to do, and obviously this wire just needs slipping in, so I'm not worried about that. These are in, but it's definitely having a collision course on something. I think it's this piece. I'm going to take this out and we'll put that on afterwards. So this ridge here is going to go underneath. That's what I think it needs to do. So then these are in the way, which again I can put on afterwards. That's not a big deal. But yeah, that bridge, this bridge needs to go underneath. So maybe just leave that off for the moment. I mean, fortunately it was still wet, and then when we put this side on, it should make everything come together. So this goes to one side for the moment anyway. You stay there, my friend, let's not lose that, but we certainly don't need it right this second. Okay, we are going to get on with these electrics. Have a spare piece, this has come off of something. Right, and we are going to deal with the last of these lights. I believe it's the last one. So what we want to do is have it facing like so, and we are going to put it with the green side upwards into here. And like anything, try not to touch the pad like I am, hands all over it too much. And then we put these two in at the same part number, so wants to fall out. And you can't really do it flat because of the wire coming out of it. And then like so. You can have it straight, hopefully. You'll probably do it this way though. You see it's quite crooked, but it's still got manoeuvrability, it's not like it doesn't. Okay, you can put it in that way. Still got a little bit of movement in there. So that's that piece. And then we're going to put on our roof next, so this will tie everything together. Very misleading on what parts you're using for what on this section. So we start with this, which has totally fallen out to the bottom, by the way, of where we needed it. But we are putting in this on either side here. Other way around, that way around too. This way, this way. So we're slipping these in. E6, this side. And you have a long one and a short one. You want the long one facing back, the short one facing backwards, opposite right side. Same with this. This is how they have it. Short one facing that way. And then into here, and it's held in with these two hooks on the end, which go into the notches. So it looks like so. I thought this was the roof. Get all your bits out. It's quite sturdy, which is always good. Oh, just much more. Didn't even see that side. How much more colourful is that then? And we are putting this in this way. Here and here. That's why you needed the longer notches this way. They're not going to reach. I'm trying to see how they're having it. Okay, this direction. And here, and here, here, and here. Does take a moment for my brain to catch up, you know. I have worked this out. The next model I'm doing is very crafty. It's got quite a lot of craft in it. Very small pieces. So I don't think it's going to be a quick build either. This is quite quick, isn't it? And that's what we should end up looking like. So you see it from the underside like so. Which makes mine correct in what they're saying. Okay, just checking. Double checking. Right, now we're going to need this plastic, which you want to, we're going to be putting this on the model, by the way. So you want to peel it, and I imagine it has a peel both sides. That would be my guess, but it's not very clear otherwise. I'd imagine they want clear, yeah. So peel both sides. So satisfying. So very satisfying. And now I'm going to put it on my very bendy model that I don't like. And it's going to go on here, so these go on the front. Wow, you're not going to see this very well. Other way around anyway, so look at the length of the notch of the plastic. So you've got the plastic here, the plastic here. Put you up a little bit. Look at this. So these are the bits that you want, so it really is going to pull this model in, like so. Ooh, and then hold it, grab this piece quick before it pings. Nothing to it. Dang it. Got an extra pair of hands around. This is the time to grab them. I don't think Juliet would be impressed if I asked her. Oh, she's in her bed not covered up and she doesn't complain. Okay. Right. Stay in. All stay in. Got a collision going in somewhere. And that, my friends, holds it finally all together. Please don't tell me I was meant to do anything special with this. No. Okay, just make sure everything's down. So, got our plastic in, a bit dusty, but it's in. And when they're showing this, they actually show another piece and they're telling you it's the mirror, which is what we are going to be dealing with. However, that isn't what they're talking about. So now we're going to put this piece on, and I think it's going to go this way. They tell me the other way, don't they? They do. But wouldn't it be better this way because of these pieces? I guess not. Right, let me go grab my tweezers and get this out again and I put it back in. And this, at this point, to be honest with you, could use wood glue. My little chain's fallen out too here. And I'm going to put a bit in here to hold this other one in. So first things first, let's find this chain at the back here that's gone missing. Should have spotted that before I put it all together. Would have made life a little easier. But I didn't. There we go. That's in. Let's put a piece of wood in. See why it got pushed out. That is a tight fit with those in the way. It's like it's just a little bit too big. Maybe what I'll do it as, instead of a step, I'll do it as a slight angle. I mean, it doesn't have a notch in it or anything, does it? That would have been handy. Maybe I'll just have it floating. I'm pretty sure it's meant to go in a lot further than it is. No, challenges. challenge. I think this is a challenge of something that shouldn't be a challenge. It should just fit properly. But I think with how tight it is, that's the best it's going to go. Got it in. Okay. If you do it in their order, be real tight with that piece back there, because that is the one that's in the way. Right, and now we can pop you back in up here, mate. In you go. Alright. Looks really cool though, doesn't it? And you can see that dragon. Well, if it was in better. I kind of knew that was going to happen too with the amount of times that I've taken it in and out. You can't see it as well as I hoped you would, but you can see it. I'd preferred it to go across the front or something. That would have been cool. Alright, anyway, that is on. The roof is on. Going back to where we were. Next we are going to put our mirror on the back panel. So take a quick 5 minutes, get myself tidied up a bit. It's got quite a mess going on, and get these pieces a bit nearer. And then we're doing some decorative pieces, and they're kind of like this has come out. See, I can see that this building's out now. Okay, wasn't a big deal. So this is going to be the front, and it makes you think, should I have done something to these edges? What about my waterfall? You're not going to... No, the other way's the front. That's alright then. I was going to say, you're not going to see the waterfall. And again, this piece is out. This is all out. So after putting on your top, to square it all up, just then go and check all your pieces are in correctly. Might go over that with grey there. Right, and that this wire's in properly. Alright, let me take a break and I'll be back. Alright, so looking at this, your mirror. I don't know what these are for, because it's not going to go in that far unless we're putting it at an angle, and it doesn't show at an angle, but I think it should. I think it's meant to go along here, down here. Your important thing is going to be this wire to bear in mind. So you want to poke it through. There's a hole at the bottom here. You want to poke it through there, but don't pull it tight, because we want to catch it not on the tree. Let's not catch it on the tree with the mirror. So before we do that, we have to peel the mirror. Get a lovely reflection probably. Peel the mirror, she says. It's very thin, by the way, it's very bendy. And then at the top, once you've peeled it, at the top, they get you to put decoration on it, which they do at a really weird point in the directions, but okay. So we have two. We have this one going to go on there, and we have another one that I've put somewhere underneath. You want the bigger one on the top, like so, so it's a little cloud, and you want this one underneath it, like so. Now because it's a mirror, don't put too much glue on it, because it will stain. So I'm going to put a tiny bit on the back here, just in the middle, just enough to tack it in place. You want to be quite high up, like clouds, so then if you smidge it anywhere, you will be okay. So I think the mirror's at an angle, even though in the instructions it looks like it's very flat. And then this one goes underneath like so. Okay, I'm going to give this a second, but while that's happening, think the mirror's going to touch here, so I'm going to put a tiny bit on here. Basically we're going to follow that platform more than anything. And it doesn't say to glue this in, but I don't see how it's going to be very sturdy otherwise, to be honest, without it being pushed back. And I think it's meant to touch these, but I don't know if it will. But we'll put some glue on there in case we get that far. Okay. Just had a moment, so take your mirror, put this wire through so that it's all on the outside of the mirror. Put it in at an angle. Come on, wire. Don't go in front of those. There we go. I'm just going to hold this a second so it catches this tower. It really doesn't want to stay in all the way. I only put a tiny bit of glue on there too. Pull your wire down and then put it back on. With the two tabs at the top. So being that that mirror hasn't caught on this right side at all, this will push it forward anyway. She says, it's popped out again. It is quite a bendy mirror. And like this, I reckon it's going in too far. Well, maybe not. Let's make sure your wire's free. It needs gluing, it feels really firm. But if you wanted to add a touch of glue, it's probably not going to hurt. Oh. Messed up the plastic. That's what you're going to have on the front with both of these moved. And my wire hanging down. It's going to lovely unstain the mirror. Let's get in position. I'm quite stiff today, to say the least. Alright, let me turn you off then. Oh, there is the off. There it is. See you in a minute. Okay, so I've put those back in. So my suggestion to you is before you put that mirror on, do let those pieces dry. I mean, I have a glue stain. I don't think it's going to dry clear like I'd like either, but that's what we have. Now we're going to deal with this tiny hole at the front here, and that is going to have a tree in front of it, which I had to hand before I started re-recording. And we're going to be dealing with this green stuff too. Let me find that tree again. Oh, there it is. It's on my lap. Whew. and that's going to go in here. So just a little tree, it's very loose, so I am going to pop a bit of glue in there. And it doesn't say, I reckon, oh no, this just clips in there, doesn't it? I was going to say, like, oh, I reckon it goes in that hole. Of course it doesn't. Talking a load of rubbish. So I'm just going to put a bit of glue in here. And then we add some green stuff, which I'm not going to use this glue. So let's get this in. Like so. Okay. Now, let's get, I think I'm going to use beacon. And we are going to be putting this upside down. So what they want is they want the stringy stuff. They provide plenty of it to go on here, and then the grass pieces to go around here on this roof and down here. But I'm not 100% sure that that's where it's going to go. She actually isn't 100% what she wants right now, by the way, so if she's making noise, that I apologise. So what I'm going to do, I think, is put a bit of this green stuff that they want me to use on here, like they suggest. But I think I'm also going to put a little bit on the roof and down to make it vines. And then I'll go ahead and put some normal green stuff on there as well. So slightly different but not too far off. So this stuff, if you've never used it before, is actually quite stringy, and your best bet is to get a clean pair of tweezers. I'm just going to use some straight ones, but pull it out and you can see how stringy it is. And that's going to be way too much, so we just want a tiny bit in comparison. Really, really small piece. So this probably would be a reasonable piece to put up here. But we don't really want it going over that edge there at the bottom. Very stringy. We could have it like that though. So you can have a little bit of artistic license on this. So if you want a couple of strands roll in there, you could probably have that. And then your best bet is to grab a pair of scissors and cut it to what you want it to be. It's following me all over the place. If my scissors want to even cut it. And put it in where you feel. And this is going to have a moment to dry as well, before we need it again. And then put more on all around the top here. And this is going to be our grass, which is a powder. And I'm okay if that joins up. It doesn't say to do that, I will say that. So then you put powder on these pieces, evidently. And I'm going to put some powder on my tree at the bottom here too. It doesn't say to do that either. But sometimes if you want to be a little bit more creative, then that will be the way. Just want these wires not to try and start getting stuck to things. And then I'm going to get my other scissors and cut this off, because we don't need it on the edge, because we will end up with problems. Don't want it on any edges. Stop sticking to me. And then take the powder, and there's going to be loads of that green stuff over. I mean, if you wanted to put some somewhere else, maybe you want some on here, traipsing down, that wouldn't be so terrible. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll put a little bit there. Let me get my green in first, because I've got that blue doing its thing. Now it's up to you how you put this green stuff on. The easiest way is to take a pinch of it in your hand, if you can open the bag, and take a pinch of it. It's easier actually to put it in a bowl. Let's do that. And then easier to take a pinch now. Just put a little bit around. A bit more at the top there if we can. Obviously it's going to fall inside the model, which is why I want to give it a minute. Wire really wants to get involved. And I'm going to put a little bit at the bottom of this tree. And I think I'm inclined to just put, this has gone backwards. So I think I'm going to put a bit of glue up here, inside here to hold it in. This is just the glue I'm using. I'm just going to put a tiny bit on here too, traipsing down so it joins. And I don't want too much because we have our little man in that area. So I'm just going to take a small piece and just have it traipse a little bit down. But it's up to you. Just to make it a little bit more uniformed, I'm going to take some light powder as well. Just put that on here. Now, like I say, there's lots of that they don't say to do, so if you don't want to do it, that's absolutely fine too. And I'm just going to give that a minute to do its thing without them. My wire really wants to play, and we're going to get on with the battery box. I'll cut that off in a minute because it's really just wanting to do its thing. And then that strand of glue. Right, we will have a look at that in a mo. So let's get all this stuff back in. You have this over for another project, we don't use it for anything else, and there's plenty of it. And I will also be pouring that powder back into a pouch, and it will be wonderful for another project actually. I even have a project in mind. So I've certainly supplied plenty of it, and considering that's the only areas you put it on. They also have a little bit at the bottom of that step piece. I don't have that. That's okay. Right, I'll tidy that up in a minute. Let's get to doing the battery box. So we take this, we take our battery box, batteries, we take our screwdriver. I'm just going to use the one that they supplied, but if I don't like it, I'll change it out. And do that, and we need 4 screws. We have more than 4 provided, so it's nice of them. That's 4. And they're not too small. We'll need the ring soon as well, and we're going to need chain again. Okay, turn it over. This is going to be where the feet go, so turn it over, and you want it this way really. So we want the switch going this direction, the wire going through. So it's going to sit like that. If all the holes match up, you have it the right way. And I do not. Okay, goes this way. So you have that going towards where it says J1. And then all we're doing is screwing it in. Delivery, I am expecting a delivery. I'm expecting a new model today. Okay, it's not a magnetic screwdriver. Sorry to trouble you. Bye. Right, let's get back to this. Very unhelpful drive. He's a great big parcel. It's not for me, it's actually dog food for all the dogs. And the dog food stays here because I have them during the week. Anyway, it's a heavy parcel which I can't lift, and he's just left it outside my front door. Did a runner on me. Most of them don't. They wait, but he did not do a wait, and so now my son has to come and sort it because it's literally in front of my front door. No one else can get in or out. Not that I'm expecting loads of people. Alright, so once you've got your 2 in, just screw it on down, then get your other 2 in. They should go in nice and easy because they are lined up already because of those 2 opposite each other. Nice and simple, one says. I don't like the screwdriver, but it's not even like the other ones that I prefer are far away. They're really not. But let's try and use what's provided. Okay, that's not going anywhere. And those are all in. Nice and tight. Okay, that's that. Next we are going to be using some, we're going to clip things in place. Not this box. Not that box. Must be this box then. And we are going to be messing with wiring. Alrighty then, my friends. So what we want is we want this one, the yellow one, is going to go down this side. These are going to be all connected with the same things, just I9s. So, something like so. So being it's going to go on like this, just bear in mind that's how you're going to want your wires. So you want enough give, but it doesn't have to be too much. Quite difficult to get in because you've got a box right there too. And then another one here. Make one here. And the other 2 wires from the model are going to go on the other side. So there's still room to pull it and manoeuvre it, so it's not in the way of this. I'm a derp. From the wrong side, guys. Need a screwdriver, might come in handy. Or not. Up the other way then, from this side. Yeah, I really did that. You're probably like, surely it's not going to go that side. Yes, you're right. On the wrong side. I can see it's clear as day, by the way, on the photograph. It's not, you know, like a pretend here and you can get it wrong. It really is clear as day. I just have a thing of trying to make it more tricky, I think. So then we are going to run. It's quite tight, but it will do. This one and this one. This one's a lot shorter. I think the other one's the battery box one, this one actually is both going to go through here. Same piece numbers, no difference. And then this one here, and I'll go over with my stick to push them in a bit better. one's still not in. Try not to catch your wires, and that one really wanted to catch. Okay. Then we are going to plug it into our circuit board so that we have this one, floaty one, is going to go in here. See where they are again, like we did when we tested it. If you didn't see that, please go back to day one. So when I tested them, put them all in for the first time. And then we'll put in the yellow one, goes in. Yeah, I think that's right. The yellow one goes in this one. Just go careful, you don't push too hard, you don't want to break your wire. I've left the front, my other door open, and I think Juliet's decided that that's the place that she really wants to go to. And then they actually have, I don't think it's really going to matter, but there is a difference in these sizes. So the big one out of all of them goes on this one, and this one goes on here, and that's our wires in place. Just making sure I get them the right way round. And now when we did the testing, we didn't push them all the way home. Now we are going to be pushing them home. Especially when I get in this last one. Probably should have put this one in last, it would have been a bit easier, but I didn't. And that's going to end up here. So next we are going to put the bottom on, making sure that this goes to the front. So keep all your wiring in. However, you have to have your switchboard out. If you stand up this end, it's going to be a bit easier. One really wants to pop out. I'm going to close this. It says, wow, how can that be so difficult to close? I mean, you'll have another screw to screw this down afterwards, by the way. Oh, just back. Okay. Oh my word. My days. Get one side in and the other side, the top comes off. And it really is pushing against something, isn't it? day, after you've had your workout and you've got that put on, we put that to one side, or are we now dealing with, we're going to deal with the front panel, I think. No, we're not. We are going to make a chain for our ring. So what you're going to need is your ring, which is a separate box. You are going to need your leftover chain, which is here. You are going to need 2 of the rings. So grab your chain, and 2 of your rings. So, like we've done before, pain in the butt than it was, but like we've done before. I also lost one of the batteries for this, from day testing to this day. Crazy! And you want 4.5 centimetres of the chain, which is that long. 45 millimetres it says. And it's going to go going to be hooking onto one that needs to poke out, but it's going to be hooking onto how on earth are they doing that? It's going to be hooking onto, I know I keep saying the same words, this piece down here, this one, so I'm going to mark it, this one, and opposite it is going to be this one, I believe. It's a bit low, isn't it? That's kind of where it looks like it is. So being that they say cut about 45 iron rings, not 45 centimetres. So you want it like this, but you want it bendy in the middle because you want to see it from the front. How much are we seeing it from the front? Let's have a look. Not seeing it much. So maybe, unless you want to sit and count your rings, you could do that. Probably about here, in here. Right. Okay, well, I'm going to get the first one in. Back to getting the tools out. I have so many tools on my desk right now. Let's find where that ring is. Open that. You're not seeing much of this, are you? Back to my old ways of not showing anything. That's so hard for me to see things like this. So you're going to want it quite open. So pop your chain on. I'm going to put it one in, 2 in maybe, and put it round a piece of wood. We could do that. Let's do that. And then close it. So I'm doing it on the top one instead. That kind of works. Check if I have the chain still, which I do. But we're not near to closing. I do see the other end. Oh, I had both ends on the same side for a split second. Not easy, but not impossible. There may be people which have the abilities to do this sort of thing better than I. I mean, it's very close. Okay. I'm not going to sit and make you watch me struggle too much longer. Okay, so once you've got it in there, and you're running it from, what I could tell, you're running it from the front actually. So pull our chain through. Go on, chain, through you go. Okay. Okay, so once you've done that, you thread your ring. Looks like a wedding ring, doesn't it? Okay. Anyway, it could be okay, so that's what, almost forgot what I was doing, what we ended up with looking like. So mine's a bit more dangly than theirs look like, but, and I've put it on these ones. Technically it could have been on this one and that one, I guess. Yeah, maybe it was meant to be on this one and this one. Either way, mine's in, and it does have it going on to the front. So then what we are going to do is take our piece here, our switch, and we are applying some of this, and it's double-sided tape. Oh, get rid of a ring I ended up not using, and we want this to go on the back of our plate. Not a lot of room on this. Oh, that's because it's got caught. Okay. I'm just going to put that on the flat edge all the way along. And then you are going to peel it. And what you want to do is make sure, let me get it peeled and I can show you. Okay, so this end, so where it's got nothing on here, that's just switch itself. So what you want is it lining up with here. So something like, always seems to be a bit off on when I do these, by the way. I definitely don't get them perfect. Put around something like so. So, and then turn it over. Now they have it flat with bottoms, so I guess we could do that too. And that's where mine is. So again, I bet I'm going to be too low. No, I don't think that's right. They have it flat with the bottom, but pretty good tape. So if I'm touching it over in a bit, might lose its stickiness by the time I'm done. Goes here, here. No, it's probably okay. Might be a bit off, but it's probably okay. We could probably literally test it at this point. Then we are going to put this on the front. So tuck your wires back in. In you go. Come on. You know you wanna. They're like, no, no, no. We've seen what it's like in there. It's way too crammed. Gonna be more crammed. Go on, in you go. Let's help gravity here. Let's get gravity to help us. Because these aren't wires you can cut to size like really some of them. Some you can actually cut. I wouldn't want to even attempt to try and cut this type. Come on, in we go. And when you're happy that they're all in and they're having a party on the inside is when we start getting these on, and hopefully they shouldn't be anywhere near as hard as putting on some of the ones we've been putting on. Don't do that. Don't put it on. Before you put it on, we do have a plastic sheet, which is awesome because it stops the dust. So get to have our magic peel. Lovely, lovely. I don't know why it's so satisfying. It's a strange thing. Put it in. So as you saw, I didn't take the whole thing off. I just took some of it off, and it just sits. There's a little notch here, and there's one not quite at the bottom, the little piece there. Okay, there's only one way. Turn it over then. There we go. So one is not quite central, so it doesn't fit dead on one way. Just turn it over. And it go on the other. It will. Come on. Okay, my friend. Alright, back to this then. Now we put this in. Well, got green dust all on the inside. On the outside, but I'll get a wet one to that in a bit. It's not on the inside, so it's not overly going to matter. This plastic is very not 100% sitting well, actually. Okay. I do have green fluff everywhere though. To stay there more than I want it to. And there we have it. So last thing to do is I got this side in proper. Come on. On the outside. Is that meant to be on the outside? I just don't know. I believe it is. I believe it is meant to be on the outside, like so. because you wouldn't be able to have it on the inside because it would clash with the plastic anyway. So yeah. Okay, last thing to do is put the feet on. And they're going to go on here. Up to you what you... I've got green everywhere, look. Got green all over my box for the batteries. I went and grabbed another battery while I took a moment. Someone came to get the heavy parcel for me and put it in spot. Bless her. And you know, the thing is, and I've got nothing against delivery drivers, I think they do a great job overall. And sometimes when something's heavy, there's a lot of them, the majority, like 95 of them, will make sure that the person who's receiving it can get it in. But I also understand when they are doing a manned dash and drop, because they are paid really quite minuscule for every drop they do, and what they get paid they have to take their petrol out of too. So, and I know this because my son was working for one of these companies for, I think it was one of these, it's all contracted out for every, I think it was. Anyway, just for a moment it did not last. Very hard to make money, but I know people do. Alright, then put your double A. Okay, so I've screwed my camera out so we get a better idea. So once you've screwed it in up here, just push it on, push it up, check your feet are in place if they're still wet, and then turn it over. We are ready. How cool is that? Just get the camera up a bit better. Look how cool that is. And this is particularly nice with the way it does all the buildings. You can't see the dragon much. When it's a lot darker in here, I'll be able to get that a lot better. You can't really see the dragon much at all, can you? Well, this is just in the way. Maybe that's why they don't have it dangly so much. But you can just about see that dragon. It looks really reflective. It's incredibly reflective at the moment. My house is quite bright, which is lovely. It's better than a drizzly day. And on the outside, looks rather nice. They've got some decor. People look fighting on the hill. Just quite a plain back, but something. This is a duplicate, I believe. No, this is a stream, so a different picture. And then of course we have the front, and I should put the ring down because that's part of it, isn't it? There we have it. Lovely, lovely, just lovely. So what do we have coming up next? So I'm waiting on delivery, so hoping and praying it does come soon. And we will be starting a build. I've made quite a few of them in the past, haven't made for a long time. Was talking to somebody else and it like, I really miss doing those. So I'm going to be doing a very detailed crafty house. This might have been better down here, you know. Anyway, that's where we are. So and do like a little crafty house. Works quite well, doesn't it? House which has a lot to it. I think it looks rather delightful. It really got me thinking when we were chatting on email and things like that about doing them, because it has been a while for me. Alright, so I do wish that I had put these rings on the outside, by the way. Ones that would have been better. It would have been better if we